Okay, we need to talk about something. Is Inpost Locker really that bad? Why has Inpost Locker got so much controversy? This is going to be following one of my recent videos, which was all about Vinted, more specifically Inpost. Hi, for those of you that are new around here, I'm Grace, and as I mentioned in the intro to this video, this is off of the back of my how to sell on Vinted fast tips, and more specifically, Inpost. Is Inpost Locker really that bad? Why has it got such bad reviews? Why do people hate it so much? Why was there like so much discussion on my video, which I love because I want to hear everyone's thoughts and stuff. But in my previous video, I recommended Inpost Locker as one of the ways to sell fast on Vinted, and I am going to be talking more specifically about that in this video. I'm also going to be talking about some changes that have happened to Inpost that I've experienced in the last month or so as a seller that I use Vinted all the time at the minute, whether I think they're good changes, whether I still stand by what I say and why I stand by it if I do, all that kind of stuff. And maybe like overall we're going to chat like Vinted and like selling. So if you're interested in all of that stuff, then this is going to be the video for you. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already, if you like this kind of stuff, and I do loads on mum life and everything like that. So why has Inpost Locker got so much controversy? Lots of people don't recommend it, lots of people don't like it. Why is Inpost Locker deemed to be so bad? There are a handful of people that have clearly had bad experiences with Inpost Locker. Seems to be a lot of people that don't like the Inpost Lockers, and we're just going to chat all about that right now. So I have been selling quite a lot on Vinted, definitely in the last 6 months, and one of the reasons that I chose Inpost Locker was because it was quick. Lots of people in the comment section like, don't use Inpost, it's really slow, and saying about bad, like all of their experiences, which is a real shame because where I am from, I don't know if it's the area, I don't really know the nitty-gritty details of how an Inpost Locker works, but basically it is the quickest way to send an item. And the reason that I am doing this video is because this week I have used the Inpost Lockers 3 times. I used Inpost Lockers on Sunday to post 3 items. I used the Inpost Locker on Tuesday to send an item, and I've just used it this morning. And on the screen, I'm going to show you now that it literally told me that my transaction, the whole time that I spent at the Inpost Locker, was just over 30 seconds. Now, you can't argue with me that that is not one of the quickest ways to use a postal service. There was no printer required. However, I am going to be talking about a change that has happened to Inpost Locker over the last few weeks, but keep on watching to hear about that, which I don't like as much. However, 30 seconds it took me to take the parcel to the locker, scan the QR code, put it in the locker, and then it is going to be picked up and go through the process of being sent out by the courier or whatever. Now, 30 seconds. And what I love about Inpost Lockers is that they are scattered all around the place. And for me, I drive for my job, so I am on the go and I am frequently passing Inpost Lockers. But the fact that they are literally popping up everywhere now, they're outside supermarkets, they're outside like Tesco's, Morrison's. I don't know about other supermarkets, but I definitely know that they're outside those 2 supermarkets. They're outside petrol garages, they're in shopping malls, they are everywhere. They're like by pharmacies, just absolutely, you cannot it doesn't take long to find an Inpost Locker. And that is why I recommended it in my video, because that video was specifically about selling fast on Vinted and getting your money quickly in your bank, and that is why I recommend Inpost Locker. Now, lots of people in the comment section were saying it's slow, they've had bad experiences, which unfortunately will happen. I mean, I've had bad experiences with Royal Mail in the past, Yodel. Every courier service is going to have its negatives, unfortunately, and it is a real shame that some people have had negative experiences with Inpost, because touch wood, so far I generally find the service very good. And the reason that I've made this video this week is, as I mentioned, Sunday I sent 3 items. They had got to their buyer by Tuesday morning, and I sent it on a Sunday, which is literally, it just goes to prove that they're 24/7 as long as the lockers have got availability, that kind of thing. I sent it on a Sunday. The buyer had picked it up by Tuesday. Now, you can't tell me that that is not fast service. So whether things are just going really well with Inpost at the minute, or like in my area they're quite on it and maybe other areas are less efficient, I'm not really sure. So I would be interested to know like if it's like if this area as a whole is like kind of quite quick with the whole process. I really don't know. So it would be interesting to know like if people have said they've had bad experiences, like comment on this video like whereabouts you're from, like area wise. You don't have to obviously say like specific, but like southeast, north, that kind of thing. But here where we are, it seems to be really efficient, and I can't believe that I sent it on Sunday and by Tuesday on Vinted I'd got a notification to say that we were waiting on the buyer to pick up their item. So that's just super quick in my opinion. So quick because there's no printing required. However, in the last month there have been a few changes to Inpost which I don't like as much, and I think that if they revert it back to the way it was, it would literally be the only thing I recommend for selling on Vinted, because they have recently changed the fact that when you put in find a locker near me, you used to be able to click on the one near you and it would literally tell you the availability of the lockers. So it would say small available, medium available, large full, or like low availability. So you'd have an idea. It wouldn't be like a surprise if you went there and there wasn't availability. However, in the last few weeks it now just says usually space available, which I don't find as helpful. I really liked the fact that it used to say like lockers available or not lockers available, because if it said no lockers available, I just wouldn't go to that one, I'd try another one. So I preferred the way that it used to update the system, and apparently it used to like when you clicked on it, it would say something like last updated 10 minutes ago, so it gave you a rough idea of like what was going on with the lockers near you. And now it just says usually space available, which I don't like as much, because you do run the risk of going to the locker and there might not be the availability for you, which is a bit annoying. So I wish they would change that back. Another thing which is a bit of a thumbs down is that in the last few weeks I've noticed that it started asking me to print a label for all the people that had asked for home deliveries. I was having to then print a label for it, which it always just been QR codes for me, which I really liked because my mum has a printer, so I can go to a printer, but I think the whole point of selling on Vinted is to do it quickly, efficiently. You've then got to pay for printer ink, paper. It's more time consuming because you have to sellotape a label onto the package, whereas the QR code is just on your phone and you scan it like at the locker at the time and there's no label, and I love that about it. But anyone that wanted to buy and have it delivered to their home, I was having to print a label, which is no big deal, but I like the fact that Vinted is quick and easy, and Inpost was part of that quick and easy process of sending out as a seller. And I feel that if you have to print a label at home, it is less efficient because it's one more step that you have to do, whereas the QR code cuts out the whole printing, sticking a label on. I know it's only two things, which if you've got a printer at home, it doesn't really matter, and you might not even have to use Inpost Locker, but I was just such a fan of the QR code. So I have actually disabled that feature because I like the fact that on my Vinted, I kind of say I can put in my description, can post the same day, because if there's a QR code, all I've got to do is wrap it up quickly and pop it in a locker. So that is annoying for me because now my buyers do only have the option of having it sent to a locker, which if someone actually messaged me and they really didn't want it to a locker, I would enable the feature for them to pick it, have it delivered to their home. But I'm trying to keep it a quick and efficient process for me because I'm a busy mum. I don't want to be faffing about too much with labels. I want it to be quick and easy and simple, and I find the QR codes are just more simple. And there were again lots of comments in my previous video saying you don't need a printer for so, which is, I agree, you definitely don't. And if those, like if an Avery drop-off point is better for you, if you work near one, that kind of thing, then go for it. Or if you'll buy a Royal Mail. But I find people are like, yeah, you can go into Tesco's and there's like an Avery drop-off, which is fine. But the lockers are right there. Like you can usually just park outside a locker, or like it's on a route, I find, whereas in the drop-off shops you have to go into the shop. We've got some like if Tesco's is really busy, it's just a little bit slower. So the whole reason that I recommend Inpost is because it is quick. like the quickest in my opinion. When it says on the screen that my transaction has taken me 30 seconds, I'm like, yes, this is fast. Like, you can't argue with that. And if you don't have a printer, it's such a good way of using it. It's probably not great if you don't drive and, you know, you don't have a locker near you. Obviously, that is one downfall to it. But it is quick. And this week, the service has been incredible. Like, 2 days it's taken for my parcel to get there. And it's not expensive. I think that the postage options are like, if I'm sending something small, the buyer only has to pay about £2.29. Really, really affordable. So I don't think you can knock that personally. But reasons that you might not want to use an Inpost locker if you're not doing a job that drives about, it might not be like like if you're in an office all day, it might not be the best for you. But like the reason, I think I said at the start, they're by train station. So if you commute, there is usually a locker outside a train station. They are just so convenient. And again, that is just, like I said, that is the whole reason that I recommended it in the last video. And the service down here seems to be quite efficient. Now, I've had nearly 100 reviews on Vinted. Lots of them say fast delivery, and I have only been using Inpost locker for the last 6 months. One of the reasons I stopped using Royal Mail was because of all the strikes over Christmas, and I just couldn't be doing with that. Plus, I just, you know, I think the lockers work. Lots of people don't like them, which is fine, but I would be interested to know like where you're from. Maybe like it's an area thing, I really don't know. And I don't know the courier service that they use for home deliveries or how it kind of works, but I have found it works for me, touch wood. And I have even sent a high value item. I sold a handbag for a couple of £100 and I used the locker and it was smooth, and I don't really have any grumbles about it other than the fact it's changed a little bit in the last few weeks, which I don't like. I don't like the changes. I think it was better the way it was, and I'm wondering if they've changed it because so many people are maybe using the Inpost lockers now. They're trying to just like speed up their own process. I don't know, but it was a lot better when they told you the availability in the lockers, and when you had it was always just a QR code, whereas now, like if they want it to go to their home, it was a print the label, which I didn't like. But overall, I still stand by what I said, as Inpost locker is one of the quickest ways to sell on Vinted. And I know that you can use Inpost locker. I've also returned some Gymshark items that I've bought from like official Gymshark. I've sent it back. They use Inpost locker as well. I've had no problems. And yeah, I stand by what I say. Like, it's really quick and effective when it works. If it hasn't worked for you, that sucks. And the changes that they've made aren't as great, so I hope that they do revert back to the way it was. But overall, you can't beat that. If you're a busy working mum or like just a busy person, I find the lockers really, really good. I'm not sure why they get so much controversy, but I wanted to just sit down and address my experiences, do a little mini review of Inpost locker, if you will, for you, and just let you know my thoughts and like, is it a reliable way to sell on Vinted? And I would say yes, it is. I haven't had any problems with it so far. I think in the last few weeks, because in May in the UK we had like 2 back-to-back bank holidays in the same week, and I had a couple of my buyers say that it was a little bit slower than normal, but it still only took a week, I think, just over a week door to door. But there was 2 back-to-back bank holidays, and the way that I sent it, I think it got a little bit churned up in the bank holiday like there was obviously a crossover and it was a little bit slower then for me. But usually I've always found it really quick, really effective, and I stand by what I say. It is one of the quickest ways to get your items sent out if you don't want to be faffing around with a printer, if you just want to get your money in your bank quickly. I think the Inpost locker is a great way of doing that. I don't know what the customer service is like, if you've ever had any problems. I think that might be why people have left, like they've had bad experiences, but you're going to get that with any courier service, unfortunately. And hopefully I have just let you know my thoughts a little bit deeper. I'd love to keep the conversation going, so do let me know your thoughts in more detail, exactly like why, if you've had bad experiences with Inpost, whether they've resolved it for you, that kind of thing. And yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that people have had bad experiences with it, because I really rate it. I'm gonna say it, I really rate it, if you can't already tell. So I can only really recommend it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. Would you use Inpost Locker after you've watched this video, or would you stick to your original way of posting? I hope the sound is okay. I forgot to say at the start of the video, someone commented on one of my other ones that the sound wasn't very good, so I've shut all the windows. I'm absolutely boiling in here, so I hope the sound is okay for you. If not, I don't know what I can do to improve it. Hopefully it's not the microphone playing up. Yeah, so thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye.